Well, everybody, it's not quite 2023 just yet, but I've decided to do something a little different here on Sportswire Radio. And no, I'm not speaking with a wrestler. No, we're not recapping all the latest happenings here in the world of professional sports, but it is the Reverend Tom Bryce, and I want to wish everybody out there a happy new year. But in the meantime, I have something that I thought people might be curious in. I have a brand new box of the 2021 AEW trading card set, the first ever set that was ever in AEW that was produced. So I've decided to online here live. If anybody wants to watch or listen or give some thoughts, we'll open up the cards along and give me your thoughts. Who knows? Maybe you want to say something to me. Maybe there's something I should have did different this year on Sportswire Radio. But I'm kind of excited to open the box here and speak about some of these different wrestlers. Maybe you want to share some thoughts on them. So we'll see how this all goes. So I'm gonna get my trusty scissor here and we'll open some of this here. All right. So let's see how this all unfolds. All right, so looks like that's the beauty of doing things on Sportswire. But looks like here, there we go. So we've opened the box. So now we've got the cards here for the first time. And I'm excited to open them. This is the first time I get a chance to actually open them. So we'll see what's inside. There we go. All right, so I got a pack here of it's 8 packs of 8 trading cards here from AEW. So very, very excited about that. We'll see if I get somebody special. I guess we'll have to find out what's in store. So let's open up a pack and see how it goes. Here's the pack. All right, so let's go one by one here now that we have one pack. Let's see this here. So we've got the first card on my pack is the Butcher and the Blade. So interesting here. This was from them. This was going back. If you can see the back of the card, this is from 2020. This was when they had their Falls Count Anywhere in Daly's Place. Remember those days during COVID where there was no fans and no anything else? So that's one card here. Well, this one looks like a good one. We got a winner here. We got a Jon Moxley. We got a Jon Moxley, of course, the former AEW World Champion, and had a very, very successful run the first time as champion, and this kind of incorporates that. So that is run number 2 on the cards. Also, we're lucky here because it looks like I have another Jon Moxley card, and this looks like here it's a memorabilia card. So this might be worth something. So I guess for those wrestling fans, you might want to see if something here you might like. So Jon Moxley, and this is basically commemorating at the time his run being the longest AEW World Heavyweight Champion. And here's what the card says. So if you want to read it and check it out, that's another card that I just received. Have another card here from somebody that we've seen in a bunch of different companies, and that was the Bunny. The Bunny, we've seen her, and this is her card commemorating her attack on Cody Rhodes way back when Cody Rhodes was a member of the AEW roster. That's another card. And also, forgive me on the mispronunciations, we have the former AEW Women's World Champion, Hikaru Shida. So my apologies on that. So that's another card here from the set. So those are some cards. I would say all in all, just a recap of some of the cards I received. We got the Bunny. The Bunny. We got Mr. Jon Moxley, who always looks the same here. And then we got another Jon Moxley. So That's one pack. So let's open up the next pack here for us on Sportswire Radio. So wanted to do something different. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, and if you're watching with me live, I appreciate you joining me here tonight. And I know here in New York it's still 4 o'clock, but if you're in the UK, it's a little after 9 o'clock. So hopefully I can keep you occupied for a little while. All right, so let's go to the next pack. Next pack here. All right, so we got another pack here. So let's go with this. Have kind of one of the favorites. I think I spoke about him on Sportswire Radio last night, and that is Mr. Orange Cassidy. So we have Orange Cassidy here. It's an Orange Cassidy trading card from the AEW magazine. Here's what it looks like. All right, appreciate that. And then we have here, this is going to be a favorite of somebody, and want to give a big shout out to Mr. John Gonzalez of the Sports Authorities Group. Of course, John is winning our NFL picks this week, so thank you, John, and hope that you hang on against the napkin, Anthony Finkel. And next card on the list is I got Chris Jericho, who just most recently was the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion, and this commemorates his run as being the first ever AEW World Champion, and certainly had a successful run, and also had a very successful run with the Ring of Honor Championship. So that's a good one. I got another card here. I guess we can say his name. He was sort of, I guess, in the Dark Order for a little while. That was Colt Cabana, CM Punk's former best friend, and kind of commemorates his run. Here's some of the information here on the card. So you can take a look at that. That's a good one. And then also we have here our main features section, which was Rio, who is also the first ever AEW Women's World Champion. So that's a good card. That's always, I always like first in wrestling. I always like to have the first here. So that's kind of cool. So thank you everybody for checking out those cards. And also, if you do like what you hear from us on Sportswire Radio, do give us a like anytime on Facebook and Sportswire Radio. And also a big shout out to Mr. Craven Rage here. And Craven, I'm actually doing a open along here. I have an now it's an opened AEW box of trading cards, the first ever set. And we're going along and we're opening up cards from the set. And the next card I have is another former world champion. That is, of course, Mr. Hangman Adam Page. And this commemorates his run in AEW. You can see some of the card here. So maybe one day we'll give away some of these cards if I feel I'm in a good mood for it. But Hangman here talks about him winning the Battle Royale way back at the first AEW show, and think about how far the company has come since. Scorpio Sky here. Scorpio Sky card, another favorite of the internet wrestling world. And this shows him here and talking about him challenging Chris Jericho for the AEW World Championship a few years back. You can see it a little bit up close there. So that's a good card. Also have here yet another Hangman Adam Page. So here he is, Mr. Hangman Adam Page, the former AEW World Champion, yet not just yet, but also talks about him in terms of his feud with Chris Jericho, which I kind of forgot about that. I kind of forgot about his feud with Chris Jericho, but it's kind of interesting on how many feuds that Chris Jericho has had. Also want to give a big shout out to Mr. Joel Cobra, of course, of the Modern Day Mafia. He is one half of the Modern Day Mafia, the newest tag team in CCW, who 2 weeks ago made quite a statement on Sportswire Radio a few days ago back, because it looks like we're going to see them in some places like Nonstop Action Wrestling, and also maybe at the Tommy Dillon Wrestling for Life at the Kirkwood Hospice. So all great stuff there, and I'm sure we'll be speaking much more about the Mafia. And also I have Nicholas Crenson here, and he also tells me, I got the feeling Page versus Moxley is leading to a Texas death match. Well, I'll tell you what, as somebody that collects trading cards, I would love to see that maybe like in a photo on a trading card. And my next card here, because I still have 6 more packs to go, I have here Brian Cage, the former FTW World Champion. And the card here, I'll read it off here for everybody if they want to take a look at it here. So if you want to check it out, I'll read it off. Brian Cage drew the Joker and was the surprise ninth entrant in the Casino Ladder match on May 23rd, 2020 to earn a shot at the AEW Championship. Yes, I definitely remember that very well. And the new Messiah, Nicholas Crenson here, also reminds me of, and why is this coming up? Okay, there we go. Especially with Moxley making the last man standing common Rampage. Yep, and unfortunately, the new Messiah, Nicholas Crenson, I never get to watch Rampages because I'm always live on Fridays. So if you want to give me an update while I recap some of the cards in this pack that I opened up. So just to recap, Hangman Adam Page, one card here. Scorpio Sky and another. So there we go. Here's Scorpio Sky. Then we have here Colt Cabana. Of course, Colt Cabana certainly was a darling in the wrestling world for quite a long time. Also, a big shout out here to somebody that is also a world champion or a champion currently, and that is in KOW, of course, our showcase winner and arguably the man that is on the Mount Rushmore, and that is, of course, I think this individual is related to the Cumbrian outlaw Rick Marcus, and he says all the best for us, for me, and thank you for all you do. Yeah, I'm just opening up. I had bought. You're gonna chuckle when you hear this. I had bought the 2021 first ever AEW trading card set, and I figured as a way to hopefully brighten people's day, I would actually open up the cards live, and maybe people wanted to give some comments. So these were some of the cards I was able to get. I got Chris Jericho here. I also got Orange Cassidy. So those were some good ones. And then I have another pack. So I got 6 more packs here. So this will be kind of fun. In fact, I was actually going to just open it myself. I'm like, you know what? Maybe people out there, wrestling fans, I can cheer somebody's day up. Who knows what people are going through out there. I know it's New Year's. It's not the most memorable day for some. So we'll try to figure this out. So here's my third pack. So a third of 5 packs here. So hopefully, I don't know what I'm looking for here necessarily, but we'll try to figure that out. All right. So pack number 3. There we go. All right. Well, this is going to brighten Nicholas Crenson's day. So I have here Ray Phoenix, and of course, Ray Phoenix is a part of obviously one of the more premier feuds right now, and I would say professional wrestling, and of course in the card here, which I also like is they give you some information on the wrestler and in the birth dates and also some other information there. So this is some of the card, and I'll read it off. And on January 6th, 2021, boy, what a dubious day, I guess, in United States history, right? But Ray Phoenix was the first challenger for Kenny Omega's AEW World Championship, what was considered to be one of the best matches in AEW Dynamite history. Yep, absolutely. I would agree with that. I still remember watching it to this day. So there's Ray Phoenix. Also have here another Ray Phoenix card. So this is Ray Phoenix here from I guess this is the AEW magazine card. So here's another one. So that's another one from Ray Phoenix. So check out that. That's kind of cool. And then we've got here, boy, this is kind of a historic card, I guess you might say. I got Mr. Matt Hardy. I guess we're going to is he still in AEW? I mean, I can't remember the last time he's even in AEW. Let me get another comment here. And, of course, Mr. Craven Rage says, awesome. Yeah, I guess. I mean, well, the Ray Phoenix card was awesome. I mean, well, tell me. Listen, if you're here listening, I mean, tell me who some of your favorite wrestlers are. I mean, I always speak with countless wrestlers, so maybe I should be asking that. But here in this card, it basically talks about the Inner Circle versus the Elites feud, which I remember well. That was the match that was outside the stadium there in Jacksonville, and it kind of talks about that there. So the Elite, the Inner Circle, where Matt Hardy joined and helped them out. So that's a nice card. That'll be one I'll put away. Also have here, this is a pretty cool one here, and somebody now who's a part of one of the bigger storylines in AEW. That is, of course, Ricky Starks. This is a canvas card here, and this is kind of a pretty cool card. Kind of like the way it's designed. Kind of a cool card, and kind of commemorates his occasion here in AEW. So I think that's nice. And Upper Deck, by the way, made the cards, and if you're watching and listening to this, you can buy these cards on Amazon. Amazon.com has them. Also, you can get them on eBay. I believe eBay is probably a little bit cheaper, so you definitely might want to check that out over there. So that's another card, and let's go to some more cards here that I have. We have personally, this would be probably my favorite. My favorite women's wrestler currently at the moment. That is, of course, the stunning, I might add, stunning Dr. Britt Baker, who, oh, by the way, is also a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. And what a run she had with the women's championship. And also, here's some information. So, some pretty cool stuff there. Talks about her record. And also want to give a big shout out to Mr. Connor Cage, of course, the Golden Boy. Also, congratulations, Connor, on winning the Rumble at Nuclear Winter. I have a feeling you're going to have a big year, and I have a feeling that you're coming to Sportswire Radio soon because I feel like we haven't spoken in a while. He says, hope you're doing well. 2022 is almost over. I wanted to give you a big thank you for being the first interview. You gave me a platform. Very appreciated. 2023 is pretty cool, and wondering if you pulled the Chris Jericho card. Actually, Connor Cage, just for you, I'm going to actually show you the Chris Jericho card that I have. So let's pull that out. Where is it? There we go. There you go. Just for you, Connor Cage. I actually pulled it out about maybe 10 or so minutes ago. So there is the Chris Jericho card. I'll flip over the back. In fact, Connor Cage, one of these days, I probably will do it maybe next week. I'll actually pull out the WCW NWO trading card set, and maybe I'll compare the Chris Jericho then that I have to the Chris Jericho now. So that was that, and of course, Dr. Britt Baker, who, by the way, is awesome. So thank you, Connor, for the kind words. Also, everybody, please follow Nonstop Action Wrestling. Also have here a guy that I don't think he's aged. I mean, Rick Marcus might have no % body fat, but Mr. Billy Gunn here. So we have a Billy Gunn card, and arguably one of the greatest tag team wrestlers. And he's here, talks about what he brings to the Gun Club at the time. Now we see him with the Acclaimed, but we also see him as a coach for AEW, and also talks about his age, which he's 59, which I almost don't believe he's 59. So that was pretty cool. Also have here, I guess, kind of one of my favorites in a way. He's a local guy, kind of made it in a way, true underdog story. There was a documentary. It's probably out there somewhere. You could see that. And that's, of course, Mr. QT Marshall. And, of course, QT has his story here. Of course, he and Cody Rhodes, certainly their relationship at the Nightmare Factory was one certainly for the ages, and talks a little bit about some of that background. And then Mr. Joel Cobra tells me Billy Gunn is looking phenomenal for his. Yeah, I don't know how Billy Gunn does it. He really doesn't age. I mean, Billy Gunn's probably going to be like 85 and still look the same. I mean, this guy is just, he literally doesn't age. And then my last card for this pack, this is a pretty cool one. This is Penta El Zero, and they kind of have this series here. I guess the main features, almost kind of like if you were a comic book fan, they're almost like, I guess, kind of like those insert cards, and it kind of has some information here about Penta, and I kind of like the design here. So talks about the ladder match they had back in summer of 2019, and of course, Joel Colbert tells me he's got great genetics. Well, you know what? You could have genetics, but there's almost like no way you can still look like that. I mean, just the shape that he's in, it's just, I mean, I don't know how to explain it. I mean, I think him and Sting are just in phenomenal shape here. So let's go to another pack because I got about 4 more packs, it looks like. So next pack here, by the way, unopened. So this is the, again, 2021 AEW first ever set from Upper Deck Trading Cards. So let's open up the next pack. Well, this is a sad card here, and I kind of feel very bad for opening up this card, but this is obviously the late Brody Lee, of course, the legendary former TNT champion, and certainly a man that accomplished a lot in a short time in the world of professional wrestling, and here he is, and certainly tribute card, and absolutely. And if you want to read it off here, here's some information for those that are listening and watching on all different platforms. This is Mr. Brody Lee himself. So just a very, very sad, kind of sad card. I kind of want to put that to the side for a second. Kind of really sad thinking about Brody Lee and obviously his family, especially this time of year with the holidays, to go through what they have to go through. So my certain thoughts and prayers go out to all wrestling fans impacted by Mr. Brody Lee, of course, famously also in the WWE, and also got Evil Uno here. So, of course, he was in the Dark Order, and also they had got a shot at the tag team titles. I remember that very well on Dynamite. So, this is kind of almost a modern day Shark Boy for those WCW references. This is a cool card, by the way. I'm about to pull this card out in a second, and I'm going to pull this out. And the legendary Tully Blanchard, of course, one of the Horsemen and one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Of course, the former FTR manager, and we saw him with so many different other people throughout his career. And very, very nice card, very, very well done. And also here's some firsthand look at Tully Blanchard, who, by the way, 68 going on 69. Kind of a little note, but there you go. Tully Blanchard, a legendary Tully Blanchard. So that's another card. And then the Butcher, certainly the Butcher we've seen here in a number of different companies. And he's certainly got an interesting look, right? I mean, Butchers are supposed to have interesting looks, and yet he definitely has an interesting look. So there's the Butcher. And here he comes, just for you, Joe Colbert, yet again. Billy Gunn. Billy Gunn now in an insert. It's kind of like the AEW insert series here. So this is a pretty cool card. It reminds me, and if anybody ever collected like X-Men cards or any type of, let's say, hologram cards, Upper Deck used to be very well known for their hologram cards, whether it was sports cards, comic book cards, and here's another one of these here. So that's kind of a cool note. So that's a pretty note. And then we've got here, this might be one of my more favorite cards I've seen. And, of course, a guy that I know we call Disciple, the belt collector, and the head of the Sportswire table, but this was the guy that literally I lost count on how many world championships. And this is Mr. Kenny Omega here, the Top Rope. This is from the Top Rope series here, and the first edition AEW cards from Upper Deck back in 2021. Here's some more information on the card. So there you go if you want to read it off. Anybody have any questions on it? And also says here, while he is one of the hardest hitters in all of pro wrestling, Kenny Omega's high-flying techniques are often his most devastating attacks. Well, he's got a little bit more of a high-flying ability than our old friend Wildfire Nate Reese, right? So that's always interesting. And then another Chris Jericho. So here we go, Chris Jericho once again. This is a card commemorating him winning the first ever AEW World Heavyweight Championship. So you can read this off here. Here's a little bit more. I'll zoom it in. So there we go here, Chris Jericho winning the AEW Championship. So that's another cool card. Of course, the Inner Circle, the premier group for a while in AEW. And then another guy that was a favorite for a while, Mr. Joey Janela. Joey Janela here, a local guy here from near my neck of the woods. And, of course, we remember his feud with Jon Moxley at Fyter Fest. And here's some more information on him. And you might want to look at the card. So, yeah, pretty good card. And just to recap some of the cards I got in this pack, Chris Jericho, once again, there he is, of course, late champion, a guy who I still don't know how he's doing it, what he's doing. Kenny Omega, Top Rope. Billy Gunn, hologram. And then we got the tribute to Mr. Brody Lee, God rest his soul. And then we have Tully Blanchard. All right, so certainly moving along here. So let's open up another pack. So another pack here. All right, so a guy I haven't seen in AEW in a while, Miro. I mean, he had a lot of promise in AEW. Did have some success early on, and he looked like he was going to be a world champion in AEW. Certainly has the look, has all the tools, but it is what it is here. And here's some information on Mr. Miro. Maybe this is the last time you'll see him. on an AEW screen of some sorts in a trading card fashion, but that's Miro. Also have here Damo Hunter. Hey, how you doing? How you doing, my friend? Happy New Year. Also, just wanted to give you a shout out that I actually decided to go live, and I had bought the AEW 2021 first ever trading card set, and I decided as a treat for everybody that I would open the cards while I'm live. So I thought that would be a kind of a fun thing. Anybody has comments on that? Also have here another Dr. Britt Baker card. So she's definitely, I would have to say, one of my favorites. Tony Schiavone, you can certainly move on over. But this talks about kind of the calm before the storm, where Dr. Britt Baker was setting her sights on winning the AEW Women's World Championship, which she did, and she held it for quite a long time. So this was kind of, I guess, something that Upper Deck knew. And then we have here Cash Wheeler, kind of from their main feature series. So kind of a cool card here from FTR, and obviously FTR, again, one of the premier wrestling teams around, and we'll see what their future holds. But kind of a neat card, so that's another one. QT Marshall, and another one of these AEW holograms, and certainly QT's lacking hair at the top of his head. If you might want to see, maybe I should let him borrow some, right? And they have him here from the Big Apple, but if you watch this documentary, he's not from the Big Apple. But that's here nor there, right? But now we have here Nick Jackson from the Young Bucks, and the Young Bucks, of course, certainly one of the premier tag teams around in the Elite, and we're seeing what's happening there in their Best of Seven series, and talks about here some of the things he's accomplished. So very well, nice card. Always love Upper Deck trading cards. I always think about WCW, which made the Tops trading cards, but now AEW is made by Upper Deck. And another guy that certainly bursted on the scene pretty strongly, and that's Mr. Powerhouse Hobbs, and of course the former FTW champion and Team Taz, and kind of a really cool card. Almost like he reminds me a little bit of a mix of a Bobby Lashley and maybe a Big E, and certainly has had some success in AEW. So you can read some of the card there. So that's another one from the set. And then I have another card here from the Young Bucks, kind of commemorating them as the tag teams, of course, the former AEW World Tag Team Championships. Here they are again with their moments. And can't say I'm the biggest Young Bucks fan. I respect what they do in the ring. But here's a card here with commemorating their run, and their run as they were about to go on as tag team champions. And Uncle Ralph from Top Tier. Uncle Ralph, Happy New Year, my friend. I was actually going on live doing something different here tonight. I actually bought the 2021 box of the first ever AEW trading cards. It's 8 packs in there, and I decided as a treat for people, hopefully it can brighten their day, I would just open up the cards that I got and maybe people wanted thoughts of that. And also have here Dax Harwood, the other half of FTR, and of course the former AEW Tag Team Champion. So certainly looks good with the gold here in this shot, and great photo, and also shows some more information. And I think about 2 months ago, FTR were actually with Bret Hart here in Brooklyn. They were at a show here, and there was a meet and greet for them, but unfortunately I wasn't able to meet them. Also have here our very good friend, Shelby, of course, Shelby Sinars, and she says, thank you for all the kind words this year. Happy New Year, Shelby. Shelby, I decided to do something a little bit different today. I actually bought the 2021 AEW trading card set, the first ever set, and I decided to open the packs as a treat for people, and this is one of the cards I pulled. In fact, I'll recap the cards I've pulled out here in the last pack. I have Mr. Dax Harwood, the Young Bucks, Powerhouse Hobbs, Nick Jackson from the Young Bucks, also a rather balding QT Marshall, Cash Wheeler, the other half from the Young Bucks, My favorite, by the way, hopefully my future wife one day, Dr. Britt Baker, Miro, and that's that pack. And I have a couple more comments before I get to the next couple of packs. Let's say this. Yep, Shelby says Oakley. Yeah, Shelby, one day we'll see hopefully some of our wrestlers here on Sportswire, and hopefully they'll have a trading card. Actually, one does already, the CCW Underground Heavyweight Champion. Hybrid actually has his own trading card, but also Connor says modern day Shark Boy kind of suits Evil Uno, especially his Super Smash Brothers tag team. Yeah, I think that was kind of what I thought. Kind of pretty much the same thing here. And also, I have here another comment from Shelby. There is a place in the UK doing cards. Yeah, let me know the place, and I'm happy to buy them. I'm happy to add them to my collection. So instead of me giving AEW my money, I'll give our UK wrestling fans and our UK wrestlers some money. So let's open up this next pack. Here's another pack. All right, let's see what else. Oh, looks like I got my first double, which is a John Moxley, the former world champion, and of course a multiple world champion in different promotions. So I might want to say if somebody out there wants a free John Moxley card, DM me, and maybe we'll try to figure out how that'll take place. But I do have my first double, which is John Moxley, the first ever double for me, Tom Bryce, also multiple time world champion. Isaiah Cassidy, certainly very, very interesting tag team he was a part of with Private Party and also their feud with the Inner Circle. So this was a good card. Certainly it had a lot of promise in AEW. So I like the card. Don't know how much I care for them. FTR Tag Team Series. Definitely a card that I'm going to value. Certainly big fans of FTR and their work. Here's a little bit of information on what they have done here in AEW. So you can read a little bit off of that. And of course, it talks about how they captured the tag team titles on September the 5th. Yep, they sure did. I remember that very well. And also have here some more comments. And of course, our very good friend from management, and of course, the person that does a great job with the society, and that is, of course, MX Knights. And he says here, it's not quite New Year yet here, but just in case I don't get a chance to say it tonight, Happy New Year, Tom. You've built something incredible here with Sportswire. A lot of love. But no, it's really more about, my friend, what you've built and everybody else at Nonstop Action Wrestling. And of course, our friends over at Nonstop Action Wrestling, please give them a follow at Nonstop Action Wrestling on Facebook. Also, NSAW Wrestling _UK on Instagram. NSAW Rest on YouTube as well. Nonstop Action Wrestling, and also Twitter as well. It's NSAW Rest _UK. So make sure you follow it. Uncle Ralph says, Happy New Year, everybody. Yep. Thank you, Uncle Ralph. Yes, go party, go enjoy. I just wanted to give a treat to people. I wanted to open up a box of the 2021 AEW cards, which I had bought, and I thought it would brighten people's days because there are people out there that maybe they want to talk. I don't know. But Scorpio Sky, main features, thought that this was a good one here. Former tag team champion, of course, with Frankie Kazarian. So that was a good one. They beat the Lucha Brothers. Good card there. So here also, this is, by the way, before I open this card, what I find so fascinating about this is that Dustin Rhodes, a couple of weeks ago, announced his retirement coming up here in 2023. And this is a guy that, I mean, he can still probably go at least another few more years. And I would say arguably a guy that's probably been the biggest chameleon in all of professional wrestling. And of course, Dustin, here's some information on Dustin. Of course, he and his brother and generations of Rhodes. And he says, Dustin Rhodes made his AEW debut in an unforgettable battle against his younger brother Cody at the inaugural Double or Nothing pay-per-view May 25th. Yep, that was a great match, a great show. And I get lampooned sometimes for my enjoyment for that show. Also, another tag team here, which I think Connor referenced, the Dark Order. And that was when the Dark Order, I lost count on how many people were in the Dark Order. And it says here, I'll read it off from the back. Evil Uno and Stu Grayson won a staggering tag team matches in a row to earn a shot at Kenny Omega and Hangman Page. By the way, one of the more interesting tag team champions in quite a while, of course, the former AEW World Tag Team Champions, Hangman Page and Kenny Omega. There's the Dark Order, and of course, Sammy Guevara, multiple-time TNT champion and big part of the Inner Circle, and also now married certainly Ty Conti. And here's some information here. And Sammy Guevara, the Inner Circle's best kept secret. It seems like a matter of time before Sammy Guevara claims his first championship in AEW, but will he do it with or without the Inner Circle? And I guess they answered their own question here. So that's another good card. Appreciate that. And then here, Cash Wheeler, but this time here, a standalone card, and it also talks about the fact that the FTR had won their first 12 matches, including 4 World Tag Team Championship matches in AEW. Absolutely, no question that they were a formidable team, and I believe they were just signed right before COVID. So, pretty cool stuff there on that. So I enjoyed that. So let's go to another pack. I have 2 more packs to go. So we'll see how this all unfolds. By the way, here's the pack. Well, I think I got lucky here. I got Arn Anderson here, of course. The Arn Anderson, the legendary Arn Anderson, of course. Double A and the Four Horsemen, and just so much what he's done in the wrestling business. Of course, the Nightmare Family, and talks about here Arn Anderson is the head coach of the Nightmare Family, personal advisor for then 2-time TNT champion Cody Rhodes. His ringside presence has proven invaluable in Cody's high-profile matches. And, of course, the man that was kind of, I guess, the security for Ric Flair, you could say, in the heyday of the Horsemen. And Adam Morgan is here with us. Adam is always here with us, it seems, these days. Hope you're doing well, my friend. He says, I didn't know there were wrestling trading cards. Where are they? So, Adam, just so you know, this was from the 2021 first ever AEW trading card set from Upper Deck. This is what they call a blaster box. It basically gives you 8 packs of 8 cards, and they're basically randomized, and you can buy it if you decided you want to. You could buy them on Amazon.com. I bought them for what would be probably £40 UK, $50 US. You could also get them on eBay and Target, probably for a little bit of a cheaper price. So, yes, there are trading cards, and I wound up and wanted to buy them and show people who I got. I thought people could brighten people's days. Lance Archer, by the way, fun fact, Lance Archer was a guest earlier this week on Busted Open with Dave LaGreca and Tommy Dreamer and Mickey James. Of course, you can hear Busted Open if you have Sirius XM radio, satellite radio. And Lance Archer had a lot of promise in AEW. Also says here, Lance Archer eliminated Eddie Kingston to win the Casino Battle Royale at All Out on September 5th, 2020. That earned him a title shot against Jon Moxley for the AEW World Championship. I don't think he's gotten a title shot since for the world title. So here is Lance Archer, of course, who was managed for a while by Jake the Snake Roberts, and probably one of the more interesting cards I pulled out based on the look of the card. So thank you for that. Penelope Ford, of course, who married Kip Saban, I want to say right in the middle of COVID. And here's a little bit more information. And also, Shelby says, we get, okay, well, what does we get mean necessarily? I mean, is there a catch to that? Have here, there he is, the man that used to be in AEW, the man that used to be the executive vice president. That is Cody Rhodes, who you can now see in the WWE. And here it is. I think it's one of the more prettier cards I've gotten so far. And Cody, it says here, in his hometown of Atlanta, Cody Rhodes defeated Wardlow, who, by the way, doesn't have his ponytail anymore, in AEW's first ever steel cage match, setting up a match with MJF at the Revolution pay-per-view. Very, very cool card. Yeah, Shelby answers here. We get the WWE sticker books, and you can, yeah, I saw those. I think those are the ones that are made by Panini. I actually thought about buying those. I can get them on Amazon.com for about like $30. I believe that was the Panini set. Panini, which is an Italian company, which I believe Topps is actually a part of now. So I believe those are the same stickers. So I did see those if they're the same ones you're referring to. So I kind of thought about that, but I've always been a card person. And then another Sammy Guevara hologram here. Very, very cool card. Also talks about the Inner Circle versus the Elite and Matt Hardy. So you could read that off. Thought it was a very, very cool card and very, very well done. And then here, probably I think one of the more underrated announcers, former ECW world champion, and certainly a guy that maybe doesn't get the credit that he deserves, and that is, of course, Taz here. Of course, Taz, who was the leader of Team Taz for quite a while, and card says here, Taz makes excellent use of his over 30 years of professional wrestling experience in the commentary booth and is the leader of Team Taz, whose motto is, "We build assassins." And of course, most notably, probably the most famous person to ever come out of Red Hook, Brooklyn. And Red Hook, Brooklyn is an area I'm very familiar with. I know Red Hook very well. I grew up not too far from Red Hook, so I know Red Hook very, very well. And here is Team Taz. And of course, his son is Hook, who's doing a phenomenal job here. And also Shelby tells me, yeah, they do the football stickers too. Andy is more of a card person. And those, I believe, are the football for, I think Topps makes them. It's the UEFL League. Do you get the Premier League stickers or do you get the UEFL ones? Because I know Topps, which used to make the old WCW cards, and they still, up until last year, made the WWE cards. They came out with the UEFL set. And I also think they came out with the World Cup set. Although I think Panini might have made the cards, and I think Topps might have made the stickers. I don't know if anybody has here as that here. Adam Morgan says, I should make cards for my company. I made craft beer trading cards before. Not sure why. I'm just thinking of making cards for the wrestlers. Yeah, well, what were the craft beer trading cards about? What were they so special of? So, I mean, I'm just curious. And then, of course, Tony Schiavone. Of course, Tony Schiavone, who's had a second run here as a part of the AEW commentary team. And, of course, it says here, in addition to his role as an experienced commentator for AEW's broadcast team, Tony Schiavone works behind the scenes as a senior producer for AEW live telecast. And, of course, now Tony Schiavone isn't now spoiling results from Raw World title matches these days. He's kind of gotten ahead of that, and I think he's had a better run in his second time as an announcer for Turner Sports with, it's now Warner Media, but Tony Schiavone here. Very cool card, and I think Tony looks better with the facial hair. So Tony Schiavone, of course, the legendary Tony Schiavone. And Shelby wants to remind me, Premier League. Yeah, I think it's the Premier League also. I think it's the Premier League. And then speaking of Rhodes that are no longer in AEW, we have here Brandy Rhodes, of course, who's the former chief brand officer, and she was, I guess, somewhat of a competitor in AEW, and there she is, and certainly Cody Rhodes' better half, and you can see some of the information here, and you can read that off. So here's a recap. Well, I'll recap everybody when we're done with the last pack, because I have one more pack. So I think I'll just recap it when I get to the last pack. We'll go through all the cards, and then we'll get some feedback if anybody else wants to. So let's open up the last pack. All right. Well, this is probably maybe my favorite one so far. That is, of course, the Icon Sting. So this is, anytime you get a Sting card or anything Sting related, I kind of feel like this is definitely a bucket list thing. This is, I think, part and parcel as to why I bought the set. So we have here, when Sting arrived in AEW on December 2nd, 2020, he pulled a black baseball bat from his trench coat, entered the ring, and stared down Cody Rhodes and Darby Allin. Yep, and here he is, the Icon Sting, who's still out there, and God bless him. And then we have here more comments before I do that. It said, it was like Pokemon, but craft beers instead of Pokemon. They had drunk points instead of hit points, LOL. The first to get to the other players. Sober HP to 0 wins. So do you have a link? Do you have like some information on where I can actually see these cards? Do you want to give me a picture? So let me know, I guess. And then here's another Dustin Rhodes. Kind of a cool Dustin Rhodes here. So this is my first, I guess, of 2 Dustin Rhodes here. And it talks about here Dustin and Brody Lee duking it out for the TNT Championship in Dustin's first shot at a title in AEW. So very cool card. Also have here, once again, yet another Dr. Britt Baker, of course. Love Dr. Britt Baker, of course. I would say arguably the premier women's wrestler in AEW. And, of course, her match with Saraya, everyone's still talking about. Have here another canvas card. This is a pretty cool one. Hikaru Shida. Here you go. Here's my second canvas card. So I really, really kind of like how they're designed. Again, Upper Deck cards were always very well done in terms of just the overall, whether it's a hologram, whether it's a graphic. So very, very cool card there. Have here Luchasaurus, of course. Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy, of course, certainly a team that a lot of people have rooted for in AEW. Very cool card here. It says Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy earned their first shot at the AEW World Tag Team titles when they challenged Kenny Omega and Hangman Page on August 12, 2020. I believe they won the tag team titles, if I'm not mistaken, earlier this year. And here we go. There is Luchasaurus, and he's from La Brea Tar Pits, which I didn't realize he was from La Brea Tar Pits. And anybody know where La Brea Tar Pits is? So that's a pretty cool card there. And also our current AEW World Heavyweight Champion from Plainview in Long Island in Nassau County, not too far from me. That is Maxwell Jacob Friedman. There he is, before the world champion. And of course, he claimed the Dynamite Diamond ring for a second consecutive year when he defeated fellow Dynamite Diamond Battle Royale finalist Orange Cassidy, December 9th, 2020. And of course, MJF, who had one of the more longer undefeated streaks in recent memory. And we have here some information that you can read that I just read off. So there you go here when it comes to MJF and our current World Heavyweight Champion. And he's had some legendary feuds here in AEW when it comes to Chris Jericho, Jon Moxley, that guy CM Punk. And Hybrid says, hope you have a good new year. Be great to get back on the show in January. Thanks for a great show. And by the way, Hybrid, you have a trading card, which we spoke about when we were on the air with you a couple weeks ago. And I bought the 2021 AEW first ever cards from Upper Deck, which is the maker of the cards. And I have to ask you then, maybe next time you're on the air, you could bring your trading card out and we can kind of talk about that yet again. But yes, definitely, if you can message me, I believe I messaged you actually a couple of weeks ago. If you want to message me back, we can work on a date in January. So absolutely, from one world champion to another, MJF to Hybrid. Then we have here Nyla Rose. Nyla Rose, by the way, was actually wrestling not too far from where I live, and I didn't go. This had to have been at the Warriors of Wrestling in Staten Island, New York. This was probably, I want to say, 6 months ago, and certainly she's had an interesting career, interesting journey, and she also here had won the AEW Women's World Championship a few years back, and she held the title for a few months, so very, very cool card. Also have here, Hybrid says, I'll get you a signed Hybrid trading card. So that's you. Well, I'll make a trade for you if you want. I got a duplicate of a Jon Moxley, and if you want, I'll give you my Jon Moxley for your trading card. So if you think that's a fair trade, sir, I'll make sure that I'll give you a Hybrid card, and we can trade. You can trade. We'll trade Jon Moxley for Hybrid. So in fact, I have it right here in front of me. So we'll make sure to pull that out. Jon Moxley for Hybrid. How about that? So he said MJF for Hybrid teams. I'll tell you what, on the MJF deal, I'll tell you what, I'm going to buy another box of these later this week. When I get the second box, if I get a second MJF, I will give you my MJF. So if you want, we can make a deal. I will give you my MJF if I get another one for your card. So how about that, if that seems like a deal? And my very dear friend, Mr. Anthony J. Finkel, who's legendarily known on the Sportswire shows as the napkin Anthony Finkel because he is in an American football pool with John Gonzalez of the Sports Authorities Group, who checked in later on. He says, thank you to me. I've got so much love. Yeah, we've been friends, man. We've been boys for a long time, man. Always one call away. Yeah, I'm on right now, though. I mean, he says, very proud of the growth of Sportswire and the community you are building. I've learned of some amazing athletes from your shows this year. Keep up the great work. Happy New Year and see you at Duffy's soon. Yeah, man, I missed you Thursday at Duffy's. I was with Michael D'Elia, who you met. Guy was trying to be a stand-up comedian, and he's now doing something else. But I made my last appearance at Duffy's this past Thursday, but I should be back there this week, and I will definitely hope to see you there, my friend. And let's see how you do in this pool coming up with John Gonzalez. And Hybrid tells me, send me your address in the new year. We'll make a trade. You give me your address, and I'll give you mine. So yeah, we'll figure that out. And also, please let me know. Message me on when we can bring you back on. I have one more card, and that is Santana. Santana here, of course, formerly of the Inner Circle, and we got to see here in this card that they joined forces with Chris Jericho to defeat the Elite, Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks at the inaugural episode of Dynamite on October 2nd, 2019. So to recap here, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go show you all these different cards one more time. Santana, Jon Moxley, although this is a special Jon Moxley version commemorating his world championship. The Bunny, the Icon Sting, that's one of my personal favorites. Nyla Rose. I think Hybrid's now favorite. Although Hybrid, I think you could take him down. I definitely think you could take him out from the world champion to another. Luchasaurus. Canvas card. Hikaru Shida. Dr. Britt Baker. Dustin Rhodes. Jon Moxley again. Tony Schiavone. Brandy Rhodes. Taz, who, by the way, looks like he's the suit doesn't fit him, but that's here nor there. Sammy Guevara, what a lucky guy in real life, right? Cody Rhodes, rest in peace, AEW. Penelope Ford. Lance Archer, last week's Busted Open guest. The legendary Double A, Arn Anderson. One half of FTR, Cash Wheeler. Sammy Guevara yet again. The Dark Order. Dustin Rhodes. Scorpio Sky. FTR once again. Isaiah Cassidy. Jon Moxley yet again. Hikaru Shida. That's a good one. Joey Janela. Joey Janela, of course, everybody has something to say about him. Miro, who I kind of feel like in some ways was a disappointment in AEW. Dr. Britt Baker. Cash Wheeler again. Balding QT Marshall. Nick Jackson of the Young Bucks. Powerhouse Hobbs. Young Bucks yet again. Dax Harwood. There you go. Evil Uno. The Butcher. Billy Gunn. Billy Gunn, of course, the guy who will never age. That's here. And the Yak Attack Jacob Bard says Happy New Year. Yeah, Happy New Year, bro. I actually, for your coming in here live, I had bought a box of the AEW 2021 first ever trading card set, and I decided to go live and open it up with other people. So I wanted to do that, brighten people's days. Hopefully I've brightened your day. I'll definitely see you soon out there in Borough Park. I know you've just come back from Shabbos because now it's getting dark here in New York. So you enjoy, my friend. We'll definitely speak soon. Kenny Omega, top rope. Santana. I think I just missed Santana. There we go, Santana again. Chris Jericho, former Le Champion. Tully Blanchard here yet again. Rest in peace, Mr. Brody Lee. Penta El Zero. There we go. From that. QT Marshall. Probably not his most favorite trading card. The ageless Billy Gunn. Not the badass Billy Gunn. The ageless Billy Gunn. Dr. Britt Baker. Le Champion yet again, Chris Jericho. Canvas Series, Ricky Starks. Very, very cool card. Probably one of my top 10s here. Delete, Mr. Matt Hardy. Also have here Nicholas Crenton. Happy New Year. Yes, Happy New Year to you, the new Messiah. I will see you in 2 weeks live. We'll have a lot to talk about. I'll probably have one WCE segment before then. So I look forward to you popping in for that. Also have here Ray Phoenix. Very cool card. Ray Phoenix yet again. Colt Cabana, CM Punk's former best friend, right? Former, I guess you could say that. Main features Rio. Scorpio Sky. Scorpio Sky obviously had a lot of success in AEW. Hangman Adam Page, former world champion, former tag team champion. Here he is yet again. Hangman Page main feature series. Orange Cassidy. Kind of a mix of Ferris Bueller and Jim Morrison. The Butcher and the Blade. And the last one, former FTW champion, Mr. Brian Cage. So those are all the cards that I had here from the AEW first ever set. I will probably purchase another one of these soon. And I'll do another open along with you guys. And any questions, if you have, you can always message me anytime. You know where to find me. I'm on Facebook at Sportzwire Radio, Instagram, The Sports Report 2021. You can listen to all of my shows on sportnarium.com/player for the audio version if you don't like my mugshot. And also, I want to give huge thanks to people one more time here. Wrestling Championship Entertainment, the likes of Nicholas Crenson, Craven Rage. I also want to give shout-outs to Nonstop Action Wrestling, GT Ministries, the LWF, Odyssey Pro Wrestling, Colory Championship Wrestling. I want to thank the Five Town Sound Athletics Department, the St. Joseph's Long Island Golden Eagles men's basketball team, the John Jay College Athletics Department. I want to thank the team on Sportswire Radio. I want to thank everybody that's listened, tuned in. Anthony Finkel, of course, of DPH Property Maintenance Service, and John Gonzalez of the Sports Authority. So if you are getting ready for New Year around the world, Happy New Year. Be safe. If you're like me or in other parts of the country where you still got some hours to go, and maybe make 2022 your most memorable here, these last few hours. And I thank you for listening and watching with me here. And I hope to be back with everybody. I'll be back on Monday night with the Pipe Bomb Wrestling Podcast, guys. That'll be Andy York, the Young Buck, and Chris Belcher. And we'll be getting you ready for Raw in Nashville. The guys will be there, so I'm looking forward to speaking with them. And you can follow the Pipe Bomb Wrestling Podcast on Instagram, Pipe Bomb Wrestling Podcast, PW Podcast on Twitter as well. So thank you, everybody, for a great year on Sportswire Radio. I appreciate all the success and everything that this platform has given me, the opportunity to speak with so many great people. I also want to thank UKW Blackheart Wrestling for working with us here on Sportswire Radio. Shelby, and who's a part of that, Lawrence Breeze, a lot of people. I want to thank Kyle Kennedy, the Lawman, the Cult of Killjoy, Dan Robertson, Disciple. I want to thank RP Davis, Rick Marcus. I want to thank KOW as well, Wildfire Nate Reese, the Acid Stephen Cross, ALP, Lucy. I want to thank the unforgettable Andre Decker. I want to thank Tommy Dillon, the Wild Card. I want to thank Callum the Jakester. I want to thank all the countless people, Bentley as well, the Guiding Light, Isaiah Quinn. I want to thank also the Scenario, Nathan Gunn, part of our LWF Power Hour, the Asset, Stephen Cross, Wildfire Nate Reese, the Brute Force, Brad Weiss, the rest of the Sportswire Radio team, Rob Maraska, Justin Gianelli, Chris Pizzea, Billy McInerney, and on the show. So thank you, everybody. Be well, be safe, and I look forward to being back with you Monday on Sportswire Radio, and a full slate of shows ahead is starting off here with Vinny Anarchy, and then also Wildfire Nate Reese, plus much, much more in between. Thank you, everybody. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce. Happy New Year. Be safe. Be well here on the number one Global radio station that is Sportswire Radio.